Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, so today I'm working on a layout using a mix of Maggie Holmes. This is mainly Gather and Chasing Dreams mixed in with a little bit of Open Book and some other embellishments maybe from a couple other lines. I'm not exactly sure. It's just kind of a mishmash of Maggie Holmes. That's what I think I'm going to call it. All right folks, this is the layout I'm making at the crop I went to in November. So I am just making these little intros so I can explain to you what I'm using before I start actually working on my layout. All right, folks, let's get going. Today's layout, as you can see, I've got quite a few photos. In fact, I believe I end up with 11 or 12 photos altogether. So even though I have a bunch of these papers by Maggie Holmes, I don't actually have any that match. So what I'm looking for instead are ones that coordinate. And for some reason, my dog is growling, and I don't know why, because she's perfectly happy over there. So, you get to hear dog noises. There you go. So, what you saw me doing was I very quickly just kind of went through me going through all the papers and I pulled some things that I thought might work. So, what I'm looking for are a couple of pieces to be my background papers, and I decide what I'm going to use are these two here. Sorry, we went from woofling to full-on barking, so I paused it for a second. As I was saying, I'm going to use these two here as my backgrounds. Now, obviously, they're different colors, but you'll see they're actually the exact same paper, just one in aqua and one in pink. So I thought those would work well to coordinate, and then I'll use my pattern paper to bring the both of them together. So I'm going to treat this two-page layout as kind of a one-page layout and then a pocket page minus the pockets, because I have a lot of photos, but they're 3x4s and 2x3s, and there isn't a pocket page out there that will fit it. So I think I'm going to not use a couple of the photos over on the right hand side, but what I'm doing is I'm basically creating Jenga tiles, one could say, or Tetris tiles, where I'm grouping groups of photos together. So you saw I grouped those two photos that are very similar on together on the right hand side, and now I'm going ahead and I am matting my 4x6 photo that is a group shot of everyone who was there that day, and I'm also taking off my branding strips. So this particular layout is about a side trip I took while I went to a crop in North Carolina. There was an art museum there that had a really cool exhibit where local floral artists did their floral interpretations of different pieces from the museum. So a bunch of us went to this crop a little bit early and we went to this for the day. It was super fun and just absolutely gorgeous art pieces and then gorgeous floral interpretations of art pieces. And so obviously I had a lot of photos. So the 3x4 I'm working on now, I think I'm going to double mat it. I don't remember now if I do a single mat or a double mat. Anyway, the reason I'm having that over on the left-hand side rather than with the rest of the photos on the right-hand side is that happens to be the piece that won the best in show or best floral art, blah, 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 whatever. And so I just wanted to highlight that. So the rest of the photos on the right-hand side are a mix of photos we took of the groups of us, pieces of art with the floral interpretations alongside of it, or just random silly things we were doing whilst at the art museum. So what I'm trying to do, as I said, was group similar photos together. You'll see me cutting away as I start one grouping and then finish the grouping, and then I'm going to go ahead and take the branding strip off the other side. And now I'm going to play around with these groups of photos. As I said, very Jenga or Tetris-y, trying to see what works better. I just thought it would be a lot easier for me to work. As you can see now, I just have 4 groups of photos rather than, I think it was like I said, 11 or 12 photos. So what do I have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I've got 14 photos. 12 on one side and 2 on the other. You know, so pretty decent size there. I just realized that that particular one was off center, so I needed to fix it. And then this one was just a little bit long, so I needed to fix that. And of course, this one now needs to be trimmed as well. Okay, so I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I want it. Just kind of playing around with things, seeing where it's going to go. And there, that is going to be the final interpretation of my right hand side. And so now I'm moving on to seeing what I can do to embellish where I'm bringing those two sides together. Because I'm not using the same background pages, I'm working to make sure I bring elements from each side to both sides, if that makes any sense coming out of my mouth. So the first thing that caught my eye was this large banner piece, and that's why I definitely wanted to have a big space at the top for me to work with. I just thought it was really pretty and it brought in all the colors. And then I also, first thing that caught my eye from that chipboard piece was that big camera. I thought, you know, it would be great for this page because I do have a lot of space on that left-hand side, and I can get away with using the larger pieces of chipboard, where sometimes on other pages, especially if I'm doing a single page, it would end up being too big or overpowering the rest of the layout. So I decided what I'm going to do is layer the banner pieces. I have this one from a 6 by 12 sticker sheet. I think that's Chasing Dreams, the sticker sheet. The chipboard is, oh sugar, I don't know. It's an older collection. I got it in a grab bag recently. That's why none of it has been used. Because I'm actually a huge fan of chipboard. So if this wasn't brand new to me, it would have been much more used. So I cleaned up a little bit and trimmed off that camera card, and I figure I will layer. I've got the banners layered over the banner, and so I'm going to layer the cameras over the camera. And it's nice repetitiveness that helps keep your eyes, you know, moving and making both sides of the layout work well together. So I went ahead and glued down all of my photos. I did ink up the pages, the mats with, I believe it was pumice stone. That's usually my go-to when I've got lighter colors like this. Now I'm going through my die cuts and I'm pulling out a bunch of floral pieces because when you're doing a layout about a floral show at an art museum, you can go hog wild with the flowers and not feel silly. So I'm creating groupings of the flowers and I'm going to end up tucking them behind those photos at the top and just filling in that empty space between the banners and the photos because that was getting a little trapped space there. So I wanted to fill those in a little. I'm also going to add that camera sticker down at the bottom, and I had added that little sticker that says delight in the moment, or delight in every moment, and that was actually from the Chasing Dreams sticker. I couldn't remember the word sheet. Sticker sheet. Okay. So I'm just poking through all my embellishments, seeing what will work. I've got this giant flower and I really want to use it, but I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. I go ahead and while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and ink up that 3 by 4 on the left hand side and get that down. And I'm like, oh yes, actually it will work. So yay. I get that one down as well. And then I was excited. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to use this ribbon piece. And this is from the mixed embellishment sheet. I also believe that's from Chasing Dreams, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm like, because it won first place. So using the ribbon, which I'll be totally honest, those types of embellishments are very hard for me to use. The ribbon style, first place, second place, because I just for some reason they're very hard for me to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get down my main photo after I ink up the mat there. I'm also inking up the piece of paper behind my camera chipboard, and I'm going to end up using that as like a grouping so it's all together. And then I'm going to add that piece from the mixed embellishment piece as well, or mixed embellishment set, I guess would be. From the chipboard, I pull that little birdie and place him up with the floral pieces. And now I'm thinking about my title. So this group of ladies I've cropped with many, many times, and I usually try to do a play on. We call ourselves the Peeps, as do many groups. But then I remembered I had this Vicki Boutin thicker phrase set, and I thought All the Good Things would be a fabulous title for this. I will say I got this as part of a Peachy Cheap deal, but I believe this particular set is available at Hobby Lobby, and I would say if you have the chance, go ahead and get it because it really has some great phrases that aren't, it's not, best day ever. Actually, best day ever actually might be on there. I have no idea. But they're not all like that. They've got some really usable things, even if you don't use it as it's originally intended and just use parts of it. It has some good word choices. So I'm going to add a couple of the gold hearts around the page just to bring that gold glitter to both the left and the right hand sides. I probably should have cut this part out, me putting the thicker thing away, but I didn't, and I'm not going to do it now. Sorry, guys. So anyway, I am about halfway through my videos from the crop back in November, so there's probably about 8 or 9 left to do. So, you'll keep seeing these probably until mid to late March when I'm going to another crop. Now, I don't know if I'll be filming there or not, but no worries, I will have videos for you guys. All right, I'm going back to that mixed embellishment pack, and this time I'm using the wood buttons with the epoxy centers. Those are some of my favorite embellishments. I don't know why, because other than these type of buttons, I never ever use buttons. I bought buttons. Like I bought all the buttons at one point. But I just never ever used them, and I ended up giving them away to someone else who would use them. So right about now, I'm just finishing up my embellishing. You are not going to see any journaling. I actually have the journaling typed up, and what I'm actually going to do is put in a 6x12 insert in between these two pages with separate journaling, because there's just, this was a big story, and obviously I did not have enough room for the journaling. So I am finishing up with some Shimmers Mist Spatters in Mango Tango and Jenny B Blue, and that will complete my layout. There's a ton of photos coming up, so stick out all the way to the end, or stick here all the way to the end. All right, folks, stop English working. Bye.